It was recently reported that Keith, one-time Thurman welterweight champion, has resurfaced in New York. He was missing in action for a while. I believe he got married in Nepal. I think he mentioned in the interviews that took place that he also went to Tokyo, or he basically was traveling all over the place during this hiatus from boxing. As we all know, he had elbow surgery, which has kept him out of action since he defeated Danny Garcia. The interviews, I think he had a few interviews, and in most of the interviews, he spoke pretty candidly about his future, what he has planned. He did mention that he wants to come back and fight sometime either in late February, early March, or with an opponent, to be named. I think Jesse Vargas' name was floating around as a potential opponent. But when they asked Keith Thurman about it, he acted as if it was news to him. They also asked him about potentially fighting Errol Spence. In my opinion, he did kind of skate around the question, kind of making it seem as though, no offer was presented to him, even though, as we all know as boxing fans, that Errol Spence has been calling him out forever. So if anything, considering that Keith Thurman is the WBA and WBC champion, he would be the one to kind of make the offers. But instead, he's implying that he hasn't received any offer from Errol Spence, which I believe is a little bit backwards. Again, to me, it sounds like he's trying to dip and dodge around a potential fight with Errol Spence. He also alluded to the fact that, the fight with Errol, of course, will not be next, and it might not be, the second fight in his return. It's going to be later on down the line, which most people are kind of taking it as if he's trying to avoid that fight and lengthen it out as much as he can. For whatever reason, I don't know, maybe he doesn't have as much confidence in his elbow to fight him anytime soon. So the way it's looking, he may not fight Errol Spence until maybe 2019, if ever. Who knows? Because again, you never know what will happen leading up to a fight of that magnitude. They may take tough fights in between, and they may even lose, which will potentially scrap that fight from even happening. He also asked Keith Thurman about Andre Ward. I think during the interview, he kind of alluded to the fact that he was just finding out about it when the interviewer mentioned it to him. He thought that Andre Ward can go on a little bit longer, which I kind of agree with as well. But again, you don't know how Andre's feeling mentally and physically. If it's your time to go and you don't feel like you can do it anymore, it's better to quit while you're ahead as opposed to trying to force it and getting knocked out by lesser tier opponents. Lastly, they asked him about Terrence Crawford. He didn't really sound too excited about a potential matchup with Terrence, kind of alluding to the fact that Terrence is not a true welterweight. He would have to basically prove himself, quote unquote, before making a fight with himself. As we all know, Terrence Crawford has been calling out Keith Thurman even before unifying the 140-pound division. So I don't know if he just really wants to test his skill against Keith, or he just sees a lot of weaknesses in Keith that he could potentially exploit. But even with that, Keith didn't seem too eager to make that fight happen. Again, a lot of times fighters, they feel as if since they're the A side, they have a position of power where they can kind of dictate or basically verbalize what they feel other fighters should do. I.e., Floyd Mayweather, he was in the past pushing for Errol Spence to fight Keith Thurman, and Keith Thurman was upset about that. So in this particular instance, it sounds like Keith Thurman is doing the same thing Floyd Mayweather was doing, but instead he's dictating his own fight, which again is his right. But in the past, Keith Thurman was the guy who was not afraid to let his O go, and at this point now, with his position of power, it's like he's trying to preserve his O and not seemingly willing to take any of the bigger fights now. Granted, he did have two good fights with Danny Garcia and also Sean Porter. And another thing that kind of bothered me a little bit is that he was seemingly more interested in having a rematch with either of those guys as opposed to fighting Errol or Terrence. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the fight with Sean Porter was excellent, probably fight of the year. And the fight with Danny Garcia was a little lackluster. I went to that fight live in New York at the Barclays. But again, he seems to want to pursue a potential rematch with those two guys, or if Sean Porter and Danny Garcia fight, he'd rather fight the winner of that, which again would be a good fight. But at the end of the day, most boxing fans want to see a new opponent. And in a situation where you can unify the division, I don't see why he wouldn't go for that and be someone who wants to be the absolute top guy in the division, considering a lot of boxing professionals and fighters still kind of put Errol Spence above him, even though Keith is unified champion and has fought the better competition. I don't know if anybody in any of the interviews mentioned Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn seems to be a non-factor because I don't even know who he's fighting next. So again, Keith Thurman, he's resurfaced. He's saying that his rehab on his elbow it may take about another 6 to 8 weeks to where he'll be fully comfortable. But then you have to think about after his rehab's completed, he has to get into training camp, because I'm pretty sure he gained a lot of weight while on his vacation, because he looked a little, chubby in the face and neck area. So after rehab's complete, then he'll get back into like a training camp for wherever he has to fight. So I guess his timetable for February, March makes a lot of sense. Again, we don't know who the opponent is. If it's Jesse Vargas, that's cool, because again, he's coming off elbow surgery. That'll be a good tough test for him, because Jesse Vargas is a former WBO welterweight champion. I believe he has 2 losses now, one to Tim Bradley and another one to I don't remember who else beat him. Oh, Manny Pacquiao. So Jesse Vargas is a good comeback fight. It's not really a soft touch, because like I said, he was a former champion. But the key thing throughout this whole process and interviews that he was going through is that he doesn't seem that eager to fight Errol Spence, and that's a little bit disappointing, considering that's the fight most people want to see. But at the end of the day, it's Keith Thurman's career. He can do what he wants. He's still a great welterweight. He is, to me, the #1 welterweight in the division. Errol Spence, he just received his title. He's shown a lot of skill leading up to winning that title by defeating Kell Brook. But again, hopefully one of these guys can rise to the top and be seen as the best guy, and hopefully down the line have a super fight with Terrence Crawford. Once he gets a few fights under his belt, he might in fact get that WBO belt from Jeff Horn if they do match them up, and then we'll have hopefully another unified undisputed champion in a division within the next year and a half, 2 years. So let me know what you think. If you guys did see any other interviews that took place in New York, please comment what you feel. Like this video, share this video, please subscribe. This is Danny 8 Count Fighting Channel. You guys have a great day.